The world of hygiene school can be wild. Hold on to your toothbrushes because we're going to dive into the chaos right now.
What's up, dental nerds? It is Dach Ska here, dental assistant, dental hygiene student, and future hygienist. And today I wanted to talk to you about a topic that I've been seeing come up again and again, mostly online I'd say, but dealing with difficult instructors. I feel like most of us have had at least one instructor where you just cringe thinking about him, or you just feel like they have nothing positive to say, you know? I want to offer a few thoughts that I have that maybe will help, and maybe it doesn't apply to your situation, but I think it's at least worth mentioning. So, I mean, sometimes you feel like you're graded harder, or you get some harsh feedback, or maybe you just feel like you don't really communicate with your instructor. Here's what I've come up with just in my own brainstorming. I haven't really done any Google searches or, consulted any experts, so I apologize if this information is not good, but this is more from my experience where I feel like it has been helpful in communicating and, getting the most out of my education with minimal drama, shall we say. But let me just start off by saying our instructors are human. And, I feel like maybe some act like they're better than human or something like that. I don't know. But, they're prone to having bad days once in a while. And, maybe they get frustrated by an unrelated situation, and you're the next person to see them, and you feel like you're getting the brunt of it. And I know it's not fair, but, it happens. I feel like a lot of people do that. So, if an instructor seems to be in a mood that day, be cautious. But also, I had an instructor where, we were told, that instructor told us that they were not really in a good mood, and it wasn't our fault. But, I feel like I didn't really have to do anything different with my clinical session, and I feel like everything went really well. So, hopefully some people have that kind of presence of mind to be able to delineate from that situation and now your situation that's unrelated. So, don't take it personally when an instructor has an attitude towards you. Just be polite. Just do what you do and keep going. Don't take it to heart. Don't take it personally. It's just a human thing that we all deal with. But something else I have noticed too is like some instructors have some different communication styles. I feel like some are more direct, and others, maybe they're more laid back and, they're not too particular about certain things. And sometimes maybe if an instructor is more direct, it can come off as blunt or like insulting maybe. And I don't necessarily think that the instructors are meaning to do this. But understanding where they're coming from, how they communicate is very important. Because, if they say something that may seem offensive, or not necessarily offensive, but just very blunt, I feel like I keep using that word. It may come across that way, but maybe the message is good. So I would focus on that and understand that's just the way they communicate. Once you learn how they communicate, the interactions seem a whole lot better. Doesn't seem like they're being overly critical. But I do know sometimes I've had situations where, like some instructors, like they're just known for being kind of blunt. And when they, sometimes I guess to kind of let loose, maybe they joke around a bit. but because you're so used to them being blunt, it doesn't come across as a joke. It doesn't seem funny. But when you learn that's how they communicate, then you're like, oh, like maybe they just have a really dry sense of humor. I don't know. But once you realize that, I think it'll make a huge difference on how you perceive this person, and maybe it'll affect how you communicate to them. And that's another thing I've noticed too, is like, it's when you're struggling to understand a concept, it's important to ask questions and ask them the right way, because if you ask a question a certain way, you may get a better answer. So I kind of approach things as, hey, I want to understand this. It doesn't make sense. Can you help me understand it? You know, this way it doesn't come across as accusing them of, oh, you're a bad teacher. Or, you know, and not that we even mean to say that, but that could be how it's perceived. And so if you take that kind of approach to it, it doesn't cause them to put up defenses. I think it allows them to be like, oh, well, I'm going to be helping you, so let's find out where we need to clarify some information. And it shows that you're engaged, and it also frames your question in a way that the instructor will not be threatened by. So I think that that's very important. Communication is probably one of the most important things we do in any career, in even just human-to-human interactions. And so having said that, though, sometimes it really seems like the instructor is putting on the pressure. And, you know, like you're trying to do a competency, and the instructor's like, you need to do that today. You need to get this done. And so, of course, it puts a lot of pressure on there. But when you think about it, it's not the only place that the pressure's coming from. The instructor may be getting pressure from their boss, maybe the head of the program, and they're saying, if this student doesn't do this today, there's going to be consequences. So, of course, push them to do it. And so the instructor is carrying out what they were told to do. But then the head of the program is getting pressure from the campus president, or maybe even the president of the school. But even higher than that, there's the governing bodies, the education boards, the accreditation boards. They're the ones that are also putting this pressure on. So, I mean, as much freedom as they would like to have, they're really put into a box. And that can be frustrating. And also, they want to make sure that you succeed as well. So, they put the pressure on, but I know for me personally, that does not help. Like, yes, I want to do that, but if I'm under too much pressure, then I feel like I just can't perform. I get too nervous, my hands shake sometimes, you know, it's just not good. But, you know, it's just the stress trickling down, and you just happen to be the end point. So, I mean, it's unfortunate, but when you consider that, I think that it also helps frame things like, okay, it's not them. They're just trying to get me to do what I need to do. And, you know, and I think a lot of this, too, is not overthinking things. Because, I mean, you know, you hear someone say something with a tone, and you're like, oh gosh, are they mad at me or whatever? And then I've had situations where either me or someone else has talked to someone, and they're like, were you mad? And they're like, no, why? And they're like, oh, it just sounded so, you know, angry. And they're like, oh, no, I didn't mean to do that. You know, like a lot of these things are just misunderstandings, or, you know, maybe they were like stressed about something, didn't mean to say it the way that they said it. Now, I know that sometimes it comes up where there are disagreements and your instructor says you're wrong. So, yeah, I think, first of all, try not to get upset about it. I know it can be frustrating. And I think it's also more difficult for people who have been a long-time dental assistant and, you know, like pouring up alginate or something, like something very basic, and you're told that you're not doing it the right way. and you just want to be like, I've been doing this for 10 years and I've done this 1,000 times, haven't had a problem, it works well for me, and I'm not planning on changing it. So that's not really a good attitude. You do not want to express that to your instructor. Part of the agreement of being in this program is that you're willing to forget the dental assistant way and learning it the dental hygiene way. And, that can be hard for a lot of people to hear because, they've had a lot of success. Why would you fix something that's not broken? So don't argue with the instructor. I would focus on, again, going back to the question, help me understand this. Could you explain this? Or what is your concern? Because maybe it works for you in scenario A, but scenario B, maybe this works better. And the other thing is, too, now you're learning to pour up alginate 2 different ways that are both successful. So maybe in the future when you're working with someone and they don't know how to do this, you have 2 options to give them. It makes you a more valuable teacher. Even if you don't plan on teaching, just in-office training can be helpful. And when you're talking to the instructor, watch your tone, because some people, when they talk, are not aware of their tone, and even though they don't mean to cause any drama or anything, cause any trouble, sometimes it comes across that way. So just know that you're getting knowledge, and your instructors have years of experience, and they understand how this fits into the bigger picture. Whether that makes a big difference or not, I don't know. But I feel like just learn from someone who knows more. So, and then, in extra help is sometimes needed in classes. So I know, like pharmacology, for example, perio, those 2 classes definitely can be tougher. And I just know in semester 3. And yeah, so I remember my first time around, there was help sessions for pharmacology and for perio, and I would go to those. And the nice thing is, with pharmacology and perio, those classes have a lot of information in them. And so the lectures sometimes go quickly and you don't have time to slow down and review concepts if they don't make sense. So when you're at the help session, you can go over the concept again and maybe have it explained in a slightly different way that will help you. And there's not the pressure of, well, we got to get this done before class is over, before the next class starts, kind of thing. You'll have more time to breathe and really take in the information. And sometimes that's all you need. But I have known a classmate that they struggled in a class, and they gone to the help sessions, and they weren't getting enough out of the help sessions to fully understand the concept. So they ended up getting an online tutor, and they had things explained to them. They reviewed the concepts. So my classmate they were going over a certain concept, and they explained what they learned in class, and they explained it to the tutor. And the tutor understood what they were saying, but it's almost like there are 2 pieces of information that were not connected. And by adding in one little piece of information, it brought the 2 together. And something to consider too is, like, I know all of my instructors are dental hygienists. And, they've gone to get their teaching degree and all that. But I think that the tutors also have a different perspective. I've looked into online tutoring. I haven't done it, but I've heard about it. And some of the tutors are medical doctors or pharmacists and dentists. They know these things inside and out like you wouldn't believe. And so when they're tutoring you, they're coming from a very high level of understanding. Our level of understanding as a dental hygienist only needs to be at a certain level. And so because this pharmacist, or I can't remember what it was exactly, the tutor had a very high level of understanding, they were able to connect these 2 concepts, and that solidified the whole concept and made it stick in my classmate's brain. And I heard about it too, and I was like, oh, that does make a lot of sense. So, I take this with a grain of salt, because I feel like instructors, they're doing what they're doing, and it doesn't mean they're a good teacher, bad teacher. It doesn't mean anything like that. But sometimes this could be a different learning style. Maybe just having a little bit of extra information goes a long way. So if you do want to do an online tutor, I say that's good for you. If you need it to pass, that's definitely a good thing for you to do. There's no shame in it. You're doing what you need to do to succeed. One thing I would be cautious about, though, is mentioning tutoring sessions outside of that, because some instructors may take it personally if you tell them that you were seeking help outside of the school. And, obviously we don't want to offend them, because if they take it personally, again, it goes back to not being treated the same as other classmates. So, yeah, just be careful about that. You don't want to undermine the instructor. You're just looking for a different perspective. And if it helps you pass the course, then I say go ahead and do it. That's kind of the quick version of what I have here today. I feel like there's a lot more that could be said about this topic, and maybe I'll delve into this more so in the future. I feel like some people may say, like, oh, I really want to know how to handle this situation, and perhaps I didn't even touch on it. Yeah, if you want to send in your questions, definitely, I can do some research. I got people I can talk to. I know people, and, if you share that with me, I can share it on the podcast, and we can all learn together. So, and that's kind of what I want to do, is like, we're all learning. I think it's important to know that hygiene school is not easy, and it's for so many different reasons, not even just the curriculum, but the human-to-human interaction. So, if you are frustrated with the situation, I would say, you can talk to someone, a trusted individual, about it, but also, understand where they're coming from, and learning to communicate effectively. It's just so important, I think. And if you need extra help, don't be afraid to do that. Your education is what matters most, and I'd say, you're learning more than just how to clean teeth or like how processes work. You're also learning human interaction. All this stuff is just going to help build you towards a better hygienist and stuff that you're going to use outside of the clinic. So anyway, I'm Dach Ska. That's all for this week. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, keep learning, keep growing, brush and floss, don't forget, because you want to be a good example to your patients. And yeah, take care. I will talk to you all soon.
Hi, I'm Nigel the announcer, and I wanted to ask you how you're doing. Are you feeling sluggish? Then it's time to hydrate with the ultimate refreshment, water. Water boosts your energy, improves your mood, and gives your skin that radiant glow. Whether you're working, exercising, or binge-watching, keep a glass of water handy. Stay hydrated, stay happy, and you'll have a waterful day. H2O for the win. Drink up. Thank you for listening to my dental hygiene school experience. You can find Dach on Instagram and TikTok by searching for dachska.dental. If you have questions for Dach, you can send him a message on Instagram or TikTok, or you can email him at dachskadental@gmail.com. Our host is Dach Ska, and I'm the announcer Nigel, telling you to stay nerdy and brush your teeth.